Hello, and welcome to Lesson 2 of the ExamView Assessment Suite's online course. In this lesson, you will learn how to create an exam using ExamView Test Generator, which is right here. In the previous lesson, I showed you where you could go to download the install files so that you can have all three applications on your computer. In this lesson, we will start with showing you how Test Generator works. So let's get started. First, double click on the icon for Test Generator. Prompted to do so, go ahead and enter your password for the ExamView Assessment Suite. The password that you used was the one that you had to create when you created an account or registered with ExamView. So now, the first step is to click on one of these options. Now, they're pretty much self-explanatory. The one that I'm going to concentrate on is this one, create a new test using a wizard. This is the easiest one because the wizard guides you in creating your exam. So click. I'm just going to give it a name. Chapter 1. Now, in this case, you will notice how many test banks you have. In this case, I have two. One is for English and the other one is for Spanish. Now, these two are different publishers that I was able to log in, enter the access code, and download the test banks. So the first one is English. Let me just go here. So that is Macmillan Learning Online. The second one, the Spanish textbook, is from Holt McDouglas Online. So as you can see, different publishers allow you to create an account, enter an access code, download the install files that have all three applications for ExamView, and they include the test banks that you need for your textbook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Spanish book, and as you can see, you have multiple folders that you can select from. The one that I'm going to pick or select is the on-level assessment. As you can see, you have many different units from the textbook, many different options, and final exams if you choose to do so. But notice that these are a different selection. You can retrieve these from the cloud. I'm not going to talk about that in this lesson. I'm just going to stick with the content that's provided from the test banks and the chapters from the book. So I'm going to start with Unit 1, and let's say that I want to give an exam for the first one here, Lesson 1. So when you double click, it moves it down to this section right here, where the next step would be is to click Next. If you wanted to, you could add more of these chapters, but I'm gonna stop right there, just one for demonstration purposes. Click on Next. Now you can see that there are several question types: true, false, multiple choice, short answer, and essay. These are the number of questions that are already created for you. So the easiest thing for demonstration purposes is I'm just going to select all 6 true, false so that I can see which ones they are, and I'm going to select all 14 by pressing or entering the numbers here and hitting enter. At the bottom, I see that there's a possible 51 total questions that I could have selected, but I chose to only select 20 from these two question types. So I'm going to click Next, and this is just a little test summary of what I've selected. I'm going to click Finish. And there you go. So I'm just going to scroll down so that you can see that the first questions are multiple choice, and right in the middle we have the true and false. But if I keep on scrolling down, I do see the 20 questions on here. So at the bottom, This is where you find the answer choices, or at least the answers to the questions, with some other information, some other interesting and useful information. Here are the standards for Texas, TEKS. And if I keep on scrolling down, I'll see that I come to the end. That's about all the information that you get. More than useful. But if you want to go into the question, you have a little bit more information as well. So I'm going to double click on the question, and I see what the answer is right there. And there's also other options that I am giving through the software, where I can center, I can change the font style, the size, bold. So I'm given a lot of freedom within the test. Once you are done editing, removing, if you want to remove a question, you can just select it and hit the delete key on the keyboard and choose yes. If you want to scramble questions, go to the questions tab at the menu bar, click on scramble, and then you get an option, scramble questions. I'm going to select yes. There are other choices that you can scramble the multiple choice answers as well. Click on OK, and it'll do that command. Once you're done editing your test, the next step is to save it. So there's two options. You can click on the icon, save, or you can go the traditional way, file, save. So click on save. This is a good method to utilize, because sometimes you need to reference the test again so that you can make some changes. And this is just for your records, so that you can keep a copy of what you've done. So for demonstration purposes, I am going to go to my desktop, and then I am going to create a folder. Test, open it up, and this is chapter 1. And that's it. This is how you create an exam view test generator.